something happened in the WNBA that almost nobody expected. A routine league decision suddenly exploded into one of the biggest talking points of the season. Caitlin Clark was hit with a fine, and for a brief moment, it looked like the league had sent a powerful message. But within hours, the conversation changed completely, and instead of people talking about the penalty itself, millions of fans were asking whether the WNBA had created an even bigger problem for its own image. Supporters argued that Clark was being treated differently because every move she makes is placed under a microscope. Critics insisted that the rules apply to every player and that no one should receive special treatment. As the debate spread across social media, sports shows, and podcasts, the spotlight shifted away from the fine and toward the league's handling of its biggest attraction. Then came the twist. Clark didn't need a dramatic press conference or a lengthy social media statement to keep the story alive. Her next actions on and off the court became the center of attention, fueling even more discussion among fans and analysts. Instead of ending the controversy, the fine seemed to amplify it, drawing unprecedented attention to Clark while raising uncomfortable questions about consistency, officiating, and the WNBA's relationship with its fastest-growing superstar. So, what exactly led to the fine? Why did this decision ignite such a massive reaction? And how did a disciplinary move that was supposed to reinforce league rules end up creating an even larger debate? Stay with us, because this story isn't just about one fine. It's about the growing tension between the WNBA, its brightest young star, and a fan base that's watching every single move. Every major sports league eventually reaches a moment when one player becomes bigger than the headlines surrounding the games themselves. In the WNBA, many believe Caitlin Clark has reached that point. Every pass, every three-pointer, every reaction to an official, and even every post-game interview seems to generate national discussion. That level of attention has helped bring millions of new viewers to the league, but it has also created an environment where even routine league decisions can become front-page sports news. The latest controversy began after Clark was assessed a technical foul during a highly emotional game. Technical fouls are nothing new in professional basketball. Players across every league receive them for arguing with officials, displaying frustration, or violating certain rules during the heat of competition. The WNBA has established procedures for handling these situations, and once a player reaches a certain number of technical fouls, league discipline, including fines, can follow automatically. On paper, it looked like a standard application of the rules. But nothing involving Caitlin Clark stays simple for very long. Within minutes of the announcement, social media erupted. Fans weren't just discussing the fine itself. Instead, they started asking a much bigger question. Was Clark being treated exactly like everyone else? Or was she being judged differently because she's the most recognizable face in women's basketball today? Those questions spread quickly across X, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and sports talk shows. Some fans argued that officials had become too quick to penalize Clark because every interaction involving her receives national attention. Others pushed back, insisting that league rules exist for every player and should never be changed simply because someone is popular. The debate became larger than a single whistle. It became a discussion about fairness. Throughout the season, Clark had already found herself at the center of countless physical games. Defenders played aggressively, opponents challenged her on nearly every possession, and officials often allowed plenty of contact before blowing the whistle. Supporters pointed to numerous clips showing Clark absorbing hard screens, bumps, and body contact without receiving calls they believed she deserved. Critics, however, saw the situation differently. They argued that every rookie entering professional basketball experiences an adjustment period. The WNBA is filled with elite veterans who have spent years proving themselves. According to that perspective, Clark wasn't receiving special treatment. She was simply learning how difficult life in the world's best women's basketball league can be. That disagreement divided basketball fans almost instantly. Sports television began replaying controversial possessions. Former players weighed in with different opinions. Basketball analysts slowed down video clips frame by frame. Even people who normally didn't follow the WNBA suddenly wanted to understand what all the arguments were about. Ironically, the fine itself became almost secondary. The real story became everything surrounding it. For the WNBA, this represented both an opportunity and a challenge. On one hand, every discussion involving Clark attracted enormous attention. Television ratings had climbed dramatically since her arrival. Arenas were selling out. Merchandise sales reached new heights. Road games featuring the Indiana Fever often drew larger crowds than many teams had experienced in years. Clark's popularity was impossible to ignore. But popularity also brings pressure. Every decision involving the league's biggest attraction is examined from every possible angle. Whether officials make the correct call or the wrong call, millions of viewers now analyze every replay. League executives understand that perception can sometimes become almost as important as reality. If fans begin believing officiating lacks consistency, confidence in the product can suffer even if referees are simply enforcing existing rules. That is why this particular fine sparked so much conversation. It wasn't necessarily about the amount of money involved. It was about what people believed the decision represented. Some fans claimed the league should do more to protect its most marketable player. Others argued that protecting one athlete differently would damage the league's credibility. Neither side seemed willing to back down. Meanwhile, Clark herself remained remarkably composed. Throughout her career, she has faced enormous expectations. From breaking scoring records in college to becoming the #1 overall draft pick and then stepping directly into the spotlight of professional basketball, pressure has become part of her everyday routine. Rather than allowing outside noise to dominate the conversation, Clark consistently emphasized basketball. Her focus remained on helping the Indiana Fever improve, building chemistry with teammates, and competing every night against some of the best players in the world. That approach impressed many observers. Instead of fueling controversy with emotional comments, she continued preparing for the next game. Yet the public conversation refused to disappear. Fans began comparing similar technical fouls involving other players. Some claimed consistency existed. Others insisted there were noticeable differences. Highlight videos accumulated millions of views. Comment sections exploded with thousands of arguments. Everyone seemed convinced their interpretation was correct. The fascinating part was how quickly the discussion expanded beyond officiating. People started talking about the WNBA's rapid growth. They debated television ratings. Attendance numbers entered the conversation. Corporate sponsorships became another topic. Suddenly, one technical foul had evolved into a debate about the future direction of the entire league. Many longtime WNBA supporters welcomed the increased attention. For years, they had hoped women's basketball would receive more national coverage. Now, sports media discuss the league almost daily. However, increased attention also meant increased controversy. Every disagreement became headline material. Every referee decision attracted instant replay analysis. Every player reaction generated endless online debate. That level of scrutiny is common in leagues like the NBA and NFL, but for the WNBA, it represented a new reality created largely by unprecedented public interest. Clark found herself at the center of nearly every major storyline. Some celebrated that reality. Others worried it overshadowed the accomplishments of other outstanding players around the league. Veteran stars continued producing remarkable performances. Championship contenders kept winning games. Young talent emerged across multiple franchises. Yet somehow, conversations repeatedly circled back to Clark. That alone demonstrated the enormous influence she now carried. Whether fans admired her or criticized her, they were paying attention. For broadcasters, sponsors, and media companies, attention translates into value. For league officials, however, attention also demands consistency. Every decision must withstand intense public examination. Every explanation is carefully analyzed. Every statement is dissected by fans searching for hidden meaning. As the days passed following the fine, anticipation surrounding Clark's next appearance only continued to grow. Would she change the way she played? Would she become more cautious around officials? Would frustration begin affecting her performance? Or would she simply respond the same way elite competitors often do, by letting her basketball speak louder than the controversy? Those questions hung over the league heading into the next game. Nobody knew exactly what would happen next. But one thing had already become obvious. What began as an ordinary disciplinary action had transformed into one of the biggest stories of the WNBA season, placing Caitlin Clark, league officials, and the future image of women's professional basketball under an even brighter spotlight than before. End of Part 1. Part 2 will cover how Clark responded, how fans and the media reacted, and why the controversy continued to dominate headlines while separating verified events from public opinion and speculation. By the time the Indiana Fever returned to the court, the atmosphere felt completely different. It wasn't just another regular season game anymore. Every camera seemed to follow Caitlin Clark during warm-ups. Every television analyst wanted to know whether the recent controversy had affected her mindset. And every fan inside the arena understood that this wasn't simply about basketball. It had become one of the biggest stories in the WNBA. The noise surrounding Clark had reached another level. Sports talk shows spent hours debating whether the league had handled the situation correctly. Social media timelines were flooded with slow-motion replays, heated opinions, and endless arguments over officiating. Some fans believed the fine was nothing more than the league following its own rulebook. Others insisted that Clark had become the target of inconsistent officiating because every game she played was under an enormous spotlight. Regardless of which side people supported, one fact was impossible to ignore. Everyone was talking about the WNBA. That alone showed how much the league had changed over the past year. Before Clark entered professional basketball, national conversations about regular season WNBA games were far less common. Now, nearly every Fever matchup generated headlines across sports media. For league executives, that kind of attention was both exciting and challenging. More viewers meant higher television ratings. Higher ratings attracted larger sponsorship deals. Larger sponsorships created more financial opportunities for players, teams, and the league itself. But with greater visibility came greater pressure. Every controversial call became front-page news. Every disagreement between a player and an official turned into a viral clip within minutes. Every emotional reaction was analyzed from dozens of different angles. That was exactly what happened following Clark's fine. Instead of fading away after a day or two, the discussion continued to grow. Basketball analysts began comparing Clark's technical fouls with similar situations involving veteran players around the league. Some believed the officials had been perfectly consistent. Others argued there were moments where similar reactions from different players produced different outcomes. Those comparisons fueled even more debate. Former coaches appeared on television explaining how emotional basketball can become during close games. Retired players reminded fans that nearly every superstar in history, from the NBA to the WNBA, had argued with referees at some point during their careers. Passion, they explained, is often part of elite competition. The challenge is finding the balance between emotional intensity and respecting the officials enforcing the rules. Meanwhile, Clark herself refused to become the center of a public argument. She didn't launch into lengthy interviews criticizing the league. She didn't spend days posting emotional responses online. Instead, she continued preparing for the next game. That decision caught many people by surprise. Some expected an angry response. Others expected frustration. Instead, Clark allowed her preparation and performance to become the story. Inside the Fever organization, teammates continued emphasizing the same message they had repeated all season. Control what you can control. Players cannot change officiating decisions after the final whistle. They cannot rewrite technical fouls already recorded. They cannot influence league disciplinary procedures. What they can do is prepare for the next opponent. That mentality became increasingly important as the Fever continued fighting for playoff positioning. The schedule wasn't getting easier. Every game mattered. Every possession mattered. Every win became more valuable as the postseason approached. Clark understood that spending energy arguing about the past wouldn't help the team move forward. Yet outside the locker room, the conversation refused to disappear. Television broadcasters began discussing a broader issue. Was the WNBA facing growing pains because of its rapidly expanding audience? The league had experienced record attendance. Merchandise sales had climbed dramatically. National television audiences continued increasing. New corporate sponsors showed greater interest than ever before. In many ways, the WNBA was experiencing one of the fastest periods of growth in its history. With that growth came increased expectations. Fans wanted consistency. Players wanted transparency. Media members wanted clear explanations whenever controversial decisions occurred. League officials found themselves operating under more public scrutiny than ever before. That scrutiny wasn't necessarily negative. In fact, many analysts viewed it as evidence that more people genuinely cared about women's basketball. The more attention a league receives, the more every decision is examined. That's simply part of becoming a major professional sports league. For Clark, however, the attention felt almost constant. Whether she scored 30 points or struggled offensively, whether the Fever won comfortably or lost a close game, whether she celebrated with teammates or questioned an official, everything became a national conversation. Very few athletes experience that level of attention during their rookie and early professional seasons. Some observers compared the phenomenon to what other transformational athletes experienced when they entered professional sports. Every move generated headlines. Every interview produced viral clips. Every game attracted millions of viewers. Supporters admired the excitement. Critics argued the attention had become excessive. Either way, nobody could deny Clark's influence on the sport. As the next game tipped off, anticipation filled the arena. Would Clark play cautiously to avoid another technical foul? Would officials call the game differently because of recent criticism? Would opponents attempt to frustrate her emotionally? The opening minutes quickly answered at least one question. Clark played with the same confidence that had defined her career. She attacked the basket. She looked for open teammates. She pulled up from long range whenever the opportunity presented itself. There was no visible hesitation. If anything, she appeared determined to keep the focus on basketball rather than controversy. Every successful play energized the crowd. Every assist reminded fans why she had become one of the league's biggest attractions. Every deep three-pointer sparked another eruption inside the arena. Television commentators noticed something else as well. Rather than allowing frustration to build after missed calls, Clark often turned immediately toward the next possession. That emotional discipline impressed many analysts. Professional athletes constantly speak about having a next play mentality. Forget the previous possession. Forget the previous mistake. Focus entirely on what's happening now. Clark appeared determined to embrace that philosophy. Meanwhile, conversations around the league slowly began shifting. Instead of discussing only the fine, analysts started asking a larger question. Could this entire controversy ultimately strengthen the WNBA? At first, that idea sounded surprising. How could controversy possibly help? The answer was simple. Millions of people who rarely watched women's basketball were suddenly paying attention. Some tuned in because they supported Clark. Others watched because they disagreed with the attention she received. Many simply wanted to understand what everyone else was talking about. Regardless of the reason, they were watching. For television networks, viewership matters. For sponsors, audience engagement matters. For players across the league, increased exposure creates greater opportunities for everyone. That doesn't mean controversy is desirable, but it does demonstrate how one major storyline can introduce entirely new audiences to a sport. As the Fever continued their season, Clark remained the focal point of nearly every broadcast. Opposing arenas continued selling out. Fans lined up hours before tip-off hoping to watch her play. Children wearing number 22 jerseys filled the stands. Autograph requests stretched long after games ended. The attention surrounding Clark showed no signs of slowing down. And while debates over officiating would likely continue, one thing had become increasingly clear. The conversation was no longer just about one technical foul or one league fine. It had evolved into something much bigger. It was about the future of the WNBA, the pressures that come with unprecedented popularity, and how both the league and its brightest young star would handle the enormous expectations placed upon them. As another nationally televised game came to an end, fans left the arena still talking. Not just about the score, not just about the controversy, but about what might happen next. Because everyone sensed that the biggest chapter of the story had not yet been written. As the headlines continued to circulate, one thing became increasingly clear. This story had grown far beyond. When she had a great game, headlines celebrated the Wnba's growing popularity. When she struggled, critics questioned whether the hype had gone too far. And when controversy appeared, whether involving officiating, physical play, or league discipline, the discussion often became much larger than basketball itself. That reality placed pressure on everyone involved. League officials had to enforce the rules consistently. Referees had to make split-second decisions under enormous public scrutiny. Players had to compete while knowing millions of viewers would analyze every interaction. And Clark had to continue performing despite constant attention from fans, media, and opponents alike. For many veteran athletes, that level of pressure can become exhausting. Yet Clark's approach remained remarkably consistent. Instead of focusing on outside criticism, she repeatedly emphasized her desire to improve as a player and help the Indiana Fever compete at the highest level. That attitude earned respect from teammates and many around the league. They understood that every superstar eventually faces moments of adversity. The true measure of greatness isn't avoiding challenges. It's responding to them. As the Fever moved deeper into the season, basketball slowly reclaimed center stage. Clark continued developing chemistry with her teammates. The offense became more fluid. The ball movement improved. Transition opportunities increased. The team looked increasingly comfortable playing together. Those improvements reminded fans why Clark had generated so much excitement in the first place. Her court vision remained elite. Her passing created scoring opportunities few players could see. Her ability to stretch defenses with deep shooting forced opponents to rethink their game plans. Even on nights when her shot wasn't falling, she found ways to impact the game. That versatility is one reason many analysts believe she can become one of the defining players of her generation. But with that potential comes enormous responsibility. Every young superstar eventually learns that public expectations can become just as difficult as the competition itself. Fans expect greatness every night. Media members expect headlines. Sponsors expect visibility. Leagues expect professionalism. Balancing all of those expectations is never easy. Meanwhile, the WNBA itself faced an important opportunity. The league had experienced unprecedented growth in attendance, television ratings, and overall visibility. More young fans were discovering women's basketball. Corporate investment continued expanding. National broadcasts reached larger audiences than ever before. Those developments represented years of hard work by generations of WNBA players who helped build the league long before this latest surge in popularity. Clark's arrival accelerated that momentum, but she wasn't solely responsible for it. Veteran stars had spent years raising the league's profile. Championship organizations had established winning cultures. Elite players across the league continued producing remarkable performances night after night. The recent attention simply brought more eyes to accomplishments that had often gone underappreciated. That broader perspective became increasingly important. While Clark remained the biggest headline, the WNBA's long-term success would depend on the strength of the entire league, not just one player. Competitive balance, high-quality basketball, strong rivalries, passionate fan bases. Those elements create lasting success. The controversy surrounding the fine also highlighted another important lesson. In today's sports world, perception spreads almost instantly. A single video clip can reach millions of viewers within hours. One controversial call can dominate social media for days. A brief post-game interview can become national news. That environment places enormous responsibility on everyone involved, from players and coaches to referees and league executives. Communication matters. Transparency matters. Consistency matters. Fans don't always expect perfection, but they do expect fairness. As weeks passed, many observers noticed something encouraging. Instead of allowing controversy to define the season, conversations gradually shifted back toward basketball. Outstanding individual performances returned to the headlines. Playoff races became more intense. Team rivalries captured national attention. The quality of play spoke for itself. Clark remained one of the league's brightest stars, but she also became part of a much larger story about the evolution of women's professional basketball. Every sold-out arena demonstrated growing interest. Every nationally televised game introduced new viewers. Every exciting finish strengthened the league's reputation. In many ways, that represented the biggest victory of all. The WNBA wasn't simply surviving increased attention. It was learning how to grow because of it. Challenges would continue. Disagreements over officiating would never disappear entirely. Debates about physical play would remain part of the sport. But those conversations now occurred within a league attracting more attention than ever before. For Clark, the path forward remained simple. Keep improving. Keep competing. Keep leading by example. Championships aren't won through headlines. They're earned through preparation, teamwork, and consistent performance over an entire season. That mindset has defined countless great athletes throughout sports history. Clark appeared determined to follow the same path. Looking ahead, fans can expect even more memorable moments. There will be incredible performances. There will be difficult losses. There will undoubtedly be new controversies. That's the nature of professional sports. What matters most is how players and leagues respond when those moments arrive. For the WNBA, this chapter served as another reminder that its audience is larger, more passionate, and more engaged than ever before. Every decision now carries greater visibility. Every game attracts higher expectations. Every season offers new opportunities to build on the league's remarkable momentum. As for Caitlin Clark, she remains one of the central figures driving that momentum forward. Whether fans cheer for her or root against her, they tune in. They watch. They debate. They care. And in the world of professional sports, that level of engagement is incredibly valuable. The controversy surrounding the fine will eventually fade into history. Another game will be played. Another storyline will emerge. Another debate will capture the attention of basketball fans everywhere. But the larger impact of this moment may be remembered for something much more significant. It demonstrated just how much the WNBA has grown and how every major decision involving one of its biggest stars now becomes part of a national conversation. The league's future will not be defined by one technical foul, one fine, or one controversial headline. It will be defined by the quality of competition, the continued rise of its players, and the millions of fans who continue to invest their passion in the game. And if this season has proven anything, it's that women's basketball has entered a new era, one where every game matters, every moment is analyzed, and the spotlight has never been brighter. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest WNBA news, Caitlin Clark updates, and the biggest stories shaping women's basketball. Let us know in the comments, do you think the league handled this situation fairly, or should things have been handled differently? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.